What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different this time. We're going to talk about hidden gems, movies that we think should be talked about more, be seen by more people. You guys know what that all means. So, here to bring you guys a very special guest here on the channel, a proud host of the Suit Up Geeks podcast, Loretto, aka Marcel Zern on Twitter. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? It's going well. It's a little warm over here in California, but it's not too crazy. Just had a long work day, but I'm always relishing the opportunity to talk film, especially with new friends like yourself. I've seen you online a lot, but it's nice to formally, virtually meet you. So I'm excited to kind of talk shop and just kind of have a good time.
Of course, man. I mean, I'm ready to do this now, man. I'm very, very excited to talk about some movies that people really should see more or talk about more. And yes, this will include films that have bombed at the box office, like that I mean, maybe have critical love, but just not enough people really saw the movie. So, but I left the link in the description below that goes to the Suit Up Geeks podcast and also Loretto's Twitter. So go follow him on Twitter. Go subscribe to the Suit Up Geeks as well. Also, subscribe to my channel. And also hit that notification bell right next to it. You got to make sure you guys stay notified on those videos. Hit that thumbs up. Share this video. You guys all know the drill. So, Loretto, I think I am all ready to go to talk about some hidden gems. Why don't you name one first and let's talk about it a little bit.
I'm sorry about that.
You name one first. You can name one first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Kind of go back and forth. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So honestly, anytime anybody ever comes up with talks about underrated films or films that I like, in my opinion, the one I'm going to bring up is just a film that I feel like nobody's seen, especially when I got into the film. I purchased it on VHS. I'm old, surprise. And it was so funny because it was such a fresh cover. Most of my VHS are all ratty, but it was a fresh cover. It was one of the last. It was like the end of the era for VHS. I think this film came out in 1998, if I'm not mistaken. So going into the early 2000s, DVDs started to become more prevalent. And this film, man, was the directorial debut of Christopher McQuarrie. He was riding high off an Academy Award-winning script for The Usual Suspects, which he wrote. And most people know him now for the Mission Impossible franchise and for Jack Reacher and those types of blockbuster action films. But before that, he did this gem of a film called The Way of the Gun, and it starred Benicio del Toro, Ryan Philippe, James Caan from Sonny from The Godfather, and Taye Diggs and Juliette Lewis. Excellent cast, and it's such a taut noir, neo-noir kind of like almost like not really a caper, not a true caper, but it's got this caper mentality and this bravado to it. Ryan Philippe and Benicio del Toro have this swagger about them that just reeks of classic capers, like Ocean's 11 or something. But really, the neo-noir aspect kicks in when they get in over their heads, pretty much. That's the prototypical noir protagonist in over his head, and you just have a feeling things aren't going to end well. And that's the kind of the way the suspense plays out for the film. And it's one of my favorites. It actually includes some really wicked shootouts and some pretty cool action sequences, but most of it is just a slow burn and a build to where we get to. And I always recommend that to people. I think you saw it yourself, right, Luke? I heard you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love The Way of the Gun. I gave it a 4.5 on my Letterboxd. Well, on my out of 10 score, I'm gonna give it a 9.6. It's close, but I have to.
It was almost a 10.
9.8. I'd be able to give it a 9.8 in order to give it a 5 out of 5. But yes, it is a little bit slow for me. Especially towards the first act of the movie, I thought it was a little slow for me. But overall, man, I thought it was great. The cast is really good. The direction by Christopher McQuarrie. I mean, this really showed you that he can direct action movies. When you really look at it, if people think that he can direct action movies, watching Jack Reacher or Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, watch The Way of the Gun. That's definitely the one that proves he can direct action. And before we get my hidden gem, we gotta hit the chat. What's up, my boy Jared Runner? How's it going, man? So my hidden gem is one of the movies I actually have in the background here. This is a movie that I really don't feel like enough people talk about, especially with the cast involved, and it has such a deep subject matter that nobody really can think of. I mean, okay, that sounded kind of weird, but the movie I'm thinking about is Brothers, starring Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal, where Tobey Maguire is a POW in the army, and he goes off to war, and an accident happens. So basically, his brother, his dirtbag brother, I should say, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, thinks he's dead. So, and he tries to kind of fill the family circle with his wife, which is Natalie Portman. That's Maguire's wife, that is. And when he comes back home, madness does ensue. So, and if anybody has seen that movie, if you know that one scene I'm talking about, you already know what it is. But Brothers, some people have even thought that Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal were brothers in real life because they really do resonate one another. I mean, I don't blame them because they really show that they're brothers. But let's face it, though, Jake Gyllenhaal's not like the best brother you want to have. Like, no joke whatsoever. Believe me.
Who directed that picture? I actually haven't seen that one.
Let me see. Jim Sheridan directed this one.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, if you guys are not seeing Brothers, I highly recommend that. It's one of my favorite films. Yeah, man. I mean, there's that one scene alone, like that meltdown scene with Jake Gyllenhaal, dude. Goodness.
And it's also kind of funny knowing that Jake Gyllenhaal at one point, when Tobey Maguire was having back issues, that he almost filled in as Peter Parker. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well, seeing them play together.
Wow. That's actually kind of funny now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because they do have a strong resemblance. I would totally believe it if a film said they were if they said they were brothers in real life, or even like cousins or something. There's definitely a resemblance, and I could totally see Jake Gyllenhaal as a pretty decent Peter Parker as well. So
yeah, but I just love the fact that in No Way Home that Andrew Garfield literally helped Maguire with his back problems. I just found that so charming.
So fun.
Oh God. Oh man, I will never forget seeing that movie in theaters, dude. I loved it. Man, it was so
yes,
good.
yes, and their camaraderie was very natural.
Yes.
I don't think the film would have been as memorable if they didn't get along so as well as they did, and them addressing like that comes out of you. I thought that was so great because like the internet had the same questions, like what are they gonna do when they realize Toby shoots it out of his wrist? Like, I love it.
Right. And even seeing when Ned opens up the first portal and then all of a sudden Andrew Garfield shows up, everyone's just like, holy crap, it's the Amazing Spider-Man. It's like, I wouldn't really say it's the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not gonna go that far.
Yeah, and what was it? Zendaya's reaction was priceless with the bread. Like, he's like, I don't have the tingle from rolls of bread.
Oh God. And then when he opens up the second portal, all of a sudden Tobey Maguire comes out and he's like, oh, it's just some random guy. I'm like, my theater wasn't even cheering when that moment happened, and I'm like, what do you people watch?
You know what's funny though is I think that there's a distinct energy within the first week or two, and once you pass that, because that's like usually the diehard MCU heads. Once you pass that, casuals usually are adverse to cheering and stuff like that. And I had that same effect. Like, I saw No Way Home like 4 times in theaters, and I think the second week or so I went and it was just dead silent for everything. And for me, even the Daredevil moment, I was like giddy in my seat. I've already seen it, but I still found it exciting. But then I look around and everyone's just like, they probably don't even know who Charlie Cox is, right? So
yeah, and even like some of the cameos in Multiverse of Madness, I was getting really excited, and then like no one else around me was even getting that excited, and I'm like, do you people not watch Marvel? And also, I even like applauded at the end of Top Gun Maverick because, believe it or not, there were some students around me during Firestarter. They clapped when the credits started rolling, and I'm like, "You people never watch horror movies," because that film was terrible.
I was gonna say I like Zac Efron, and I think Stephen King has some fun stories to tell, but I don't know what it was. That trailer gave me bad vibes. It gave me like New
Here.
Mutants vibes. It gave me like it just didn't feel like it was gonna be a good project. So,
And spoiler warning, like the agent in this movie in Firestarter, it like even says these exact words. I'm not kidding when I say it. She's like, "Charlie, you're becoming a superhero." Tell me if that should not be working there. Come on.
no, definitely not. And I think that's very like it's on brand for this generation, which is a sad thing to say. That whoever wrote that felt the need to hit that on the head.
Like they really wanted to make like a superhero origin story, and it's just like, this is a scary movie. Oh my god.
Well, I think that the problem is like I think some people, especially maybe like studios, think that everything has to have some sort of super tie-in, and it's like, it's okay if we don't have a superhero in our film. We could, the films could be other things, right? So.
Yeah, I get that for sure, but like that was a rough film for me to get through, and plus there were students like towards the back row. Like some of the same students, they were reacting to a lot of stuff out loud on the screen, and I'm like, shut up, people! Come on. Can I just at least have a little peace and quiet watching this terrible movie?
Yeah, no, theater etiquette is definitely something that I wish everyone had, but some people just people we people, man.
When I saw Top Gun Maverick, dude, as soon as like after all the characters were shown, and then when the credits started rolling, I was just like, I started clapping, and there were people behind me that clapped, and I'm like, you people know cinema.
That's such a fun time. I actually just recently rewatched it over the weekend. It was my my third time. It was still good.
I've already seen it twice.
Nice.
That was that's the it's so fun. I've already seen it twice in theaters. So
nice.
Love Top Gun. But so I'll make my next hidden gem. Before we do that, Graham Evans is in here, aka Movie Nerd 3000. How you doing? My buddy Charles Clayton, how's it going? I have seen Brothers, great movie. Yeah. If you guys remember that scene with that meltdown with Jake Gyllenhaal, oh boy, this is definitely not a watch all the time movie. I'll say that much at least.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a really, really good one. Next one I really want to talk about is again another movie behind me. You may actually see it in the frame. This movie bombed at the box office, and it really should not have. That's Last Night in Soho. That movie bombed at the box office, and I do not understand why it did. I mean, wait, what am I saying? I didn't get to see it in theaters. Crap. At least I was able to see it on digital and at least give it my highest score and actually bump it up to my favorite of the year. So thanks, Edgar Wright. But
yeah, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I wasn't sure if I had a moment there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, Edgar Wright really captured the 1960s vibe of this movie really, really well. I mean, that's really hard to do, believe it or not. Capture the time period that the film is set in. But Edgar Wright really put his own style to it, and it worked out really, really well. Let's see. Thomasin McKenzie, of course, was fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy. These two were dynamite together, for sure. What's her name? Diana Rigg, remember right? Yeah, Diana Rigg. What a great last performance from her, and may she rest in peace. Matt Smith also. We can't overlook Matt Smith in this movie. He did such a good job in this movie. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This movie made me forgive him for Morbius. Morbius sucked, dude. That movie sucks.
I still haven't taken that plunge.
I don't recommend you do so. Oh my god. I tried falling asleep 3 times in that theater when I watched that movie.
You tried to fall asleep?
Well, at one point, I really felt like I was falling asleep. I woke back up. I was like, go back to sleep. Woke back up. Go back to sleep. Then woke back up, and I was like, okay, fine. God, that film was hard to get through for me. Like, there were points I literally wanted to walk out, and I was just like, you know what? Just get through it. Just tear it off like a Band-Aid. It'll be done.
You know what was my attitude with it was, that saying, like, fool me once, fool me twice, the third time, shame on me, right? So I really don't like the Venom films. So from the Venom films, I'm just like, I don't trust Sony for anything. So, and the trailer wasn't that impressive. So,
yeah, and it didn't even feel like a true vision from Daniel Espinosa, the director of Morbius. It didn't even feel like his true vision. That just felt like Sony just wanting to milk in on Michael Morbius, or heck, Jared Leto just wanting to make bank. And I'm just like, bro, you're not really that good of a person, dude. Like, you just think you're going method and insulting every Italian person in the world. I'm one of those people that loves House of Gucci, if I'm going to be honest with you. But his performance was hit and miss with me.
Okay. I was going to say, there's another one that I kind of didn't get the chance to dive into. But I feel like I didn't miss much. most people aren't very fond of it. So.
Oh, yeah. But then when I really talk to a lot of people, like, why they hate House of Gucci, they're just like, oh, Jared Leto's so offensive. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's fine, but still, like, you can't just say that it's terrible because Jared Leto offended you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, he did. Yes, he can be offensive with that movie and insulting every Italian person in the world with that accent, basically making it like he wants to be Mario. I swear, dude, he made me think he should have been Mario instead of Chris Pratt. Like, I swear.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but like hilarious things about it, but definitely not too many positives about his performance. So,
oh no. I mean, am I glad he got nominated for a Razzie? Yes. I'm glad he didn't get nominated for an Oscar though, because otherwise we'd all be on a tangent, be like, why did Jake Gyllenhaal not get nominated and Jared Leto did?
Right. It would have been a waste of a nomination for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, Lady Gaga was a million times better than Jared Leto. No question. But what do you got next there, my man?
So yeah, I actually wanted to highlight a comedy. This came out around the time of what I like to call the Apatow like renaissance of comedy, because like literally anybody and everybody affiliated with him and within his casts of his previous shows and films just exploded, and there was like a huge gaggle of films that just came out around this time that, which, I mean, I think it eventually, of course, became oversaturated, but I think most of them are really good. And, we're talking about the era of like 40-year-old virgin going into like Knocked Up. And then the film that I'm about to talk about, it follows Forgetting Sarah Marshall, who, it was actually the same director that did this film. I Love You, Man, starring Jason Segel and Paul Rudd, Rashida Jones, Jon Favreau. It's such a fun cast. A lot of fun cameos too. We got like Lou Ferrigno from an Incredible Hulk series, Thomas Lennon from Reno 911, and it's such a fun, like, literally it's a bromance, and sometimes like some of the best comedies like rely on the strength of a great bromance, and Jason Segel and Paul Rudd, like who doesn't love these guys? They're just so lovable and they have a great chemistry together. These guys just hang out, eat tacos, jam out, slapping the bass and playing guitar, and it's such a fun time. And I think the concept is fun too. I mean, I don't know how many guys that can't fill out a groomsman party, whatever you want to call it, but I think the premise was fun, especially for like normally you'd see that in like a rom-com, but I thought it was kind of cool to reverse the roles, right? Yeah. I could see this exact same film with a bride looking for bridesmaids, and it's like a fun like rom-com, but I like that they flipped it, and instead of a rom-com we got like a brom-com. Does that make sense? Or
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorites. I feel like not enough people talk about it, but it's so funny, and I highly recommend this to anybody, especially any fans of Paul Rudd or Jason Segel.
Oh yeah, no question. I really like that movie too. I watched it for the very first time, I think last May.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. There were, I do think the film actually did have some issues, but it's not a terrible film. Of course, it's really funny. The chemistry between Siegel and Rudd is obviously unmatched to me. Honestly, it's just unmatched, and it's a really really funny movie. Cannot lie. I mean, I love this scene like when they're chugging, like basically they're just basically playing the game of chugging, and then Paul Rudd vomits all over the guy in front of him.
Yeah, that's actually Jon Favreau.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people
right.
don't forget that he acts. Like he directed Iron Man and The Jungle Book and stuff like that. But he's a really good actor as well.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm sorry, no, get out.
Yeah, he's
sorry,
like, get the F out. So good.
God. That is a really good movie. Let's also catch up on this chat. A group of 8 or 9 high schoolers were being too loud on my first screening of the Bob's Burgers movie. Oh. I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, I even saw a couple students like towards the front of the theater on their phones playing games, and I'm like, if you guys are gonna be on your phones playing games, get out. Like, you have no purpose in really watching this film in the theater.
Right. Well, I think the sad thing is, A, they probably have nothing better to do, and B, it's just one of those things where those kind of kids obviously have no respect for anybody around them, no self-awareness, and that's, I don't know if that's upbringing or if that's just their own personality, just not giving a crap about people, but it's definitely a bummer for anybody who has to deal with that. So,
oh no, I didn't want to get too bothered by it. I didn't want to I didn't want to complain to the man, to one of the workers down at the theater like I did for Firestarter, and they gave me a free pass after that. And I was just like, no, I'm throwing it away. That's just me complaining.
No, but to be fair though, some of it is warranted. Movies aren't cheap, especially if you do pay for your ticket, and if you're here to experience something and someone's ruining it for you, like, I feel like you have every right to at least speak up. And in my opinion, I think the refund is well deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I obviously didn't get refunded like the whole money I spent. Obviously, I was just given the free pass.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I watched the whole movie, and I kind of feel stupid that I did.
Oh wait, so you had a bad experience, but you stayed?
That was with Firestarter, was what I was talking about.
Oh,
Bob's
okay.
Burgers, I wasn't too bothered because I actually did like Bob's Burgers for what it was. It was good. I didn't love it, but it was good.
Yeah.
I liked it enough. But yeah, those students that were in the front, that were playing on their phones, I think if you were playing Subway Surfers, I was just like, you people don't watch movies, do you?
Right. Yeah, so, no, there's definitely an etiquette in theaters that it's just like, it's unspoken. It's like an unspoken law, but some people just don't get it, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. But at least the crowd I had for Top Gun Maverick on my second run on Sunday, they were a lot more respectful. I'm not gonna lie, they were a lot more respectful. So, but then I gotta say, there were actually a couple of girls sitting in my row for Bob's Burgers, and all of a sudden, I saw them grab their bag and one of them grabbed their bag and their phone and everything, and they left the theater, and then I come to realize they never came back. So I'm guessing they might.
I was gonna say, some things aren't for them, and there's also that other aspect where some of these kids are just sneaking in. There's that too. So there's another reason why they don't care is because they didn't pay for it. They're just there, you know what I mean? So there's that aspect too. I've seen that plenty of times.
Yeah, I wouldn't have walked out on it if I'm gonna be honest with you. If it was I'm trying to think, what movie? If it was the 355, I probably would have walked out on it. If I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have walked out. But thank the Lord I did not see that in theaters. I'm actually happy I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seemed cool at first, and then it got terrible reviews. So
I remember that it was from the director of X-Men Dark Phoenix. I remembered that. Jared says, why it bombed? Because it was competing with Halloween. Yep. Wait. It was also competing with Dune at the time. I remember that.
Yeah, no, that was a terrible release schedule, and I think honestly, I think that was not the film for Edgar Wright to. I mean, I know that he obviously was working on it. When you finish production of the film, obviously there's a certain time you got to get the film out, right? But it's just with the 60s setting and the very ambiguous like marketing, like it looked fun, at least for me, but I think for casual audiences, I think they didn't know what to make of it. And I think Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomas McKenzie just aren't big enough stars to just pull people in. I think if it was like Angelina Jolie and like someone more noticeable, like I think it would have made a little bit more noise, maybe. But
a lot of Edgar Wright's films have already bombed at the box office anyway. So
yeah, no, it's definitely not his forte.
I mean, Scott Pilgrim bombed, and I'm like, come on, people. Yeah. But like, I didn't watch it back when it came out though, because obviously I was way too young. But
no worries, man. No, but that was a heartbreaker for me. I was there day one, and then like literally almost 2 or 3 weeks later, it wasn't even in theaters anymore. It was so bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. At one point, a kid left the theater to pick up the pizza. What?
Unforgivable.
Says it all, man.
That's despicable, man. That's just like just get out. Just stay out. Just eat your pizza outside, man. Don't come back.
Eat your pizza. Like, how about this? Eat your pizza outside, and if you want to go watch something else, go do that yourself. like then what are you doing here watching Bob's Burgers? Go watch I don't know, say they're another crappy stuff. Go watch Firestarter or Morbius if they were still playing, but I don't know, man. My boy Zach Milne Talks Movies is in the building. What's going on, buddy? Said Buried with Buried. That is underappreciated in my eyes.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard good things though. I heard Ryan Reynolds is really good in it.
I've heard by a lot of people that's actually his best serious role that he's ever put out there. I mean,
nice.
I agree with that. Actually, that's actually his best serious performance. Like one where he's not just being plain old Deadpool. Like he is doing now, like he did with Free Guy and the Atom Project. Which, don't get me wrong, I really like those two movies, especially Free Guy. But some people just really want him to step out of his comfort zone, and I get that for sure.
Well, I think also some actors just fall into a trap where they just can't help but play that same character over and over, right? I think that happens to a lot of people. So
I don't know if this might count as a good example, but I think Channing Tatum might actually be kind of a good example of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think 21 Jump Street was fantastic, and then it's like he got stuck being that silly buff guy up for like every single other movie he was in. So
like after he did Magic Mike, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
But 21 Jump Street obviously made people fans of Channing Tatum. But dude, I am so happy he made a comeback this year. I am so happy. He made a comeback with Dog and The Lost City. I'm happy he's back in Hollywood now.
That's awesome. I did want to see Dog. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I actually bought this day one, and I watched it as soon as I got it. I didn't get the chance to see this in theaters, but
nice.
Man, was it good. But I think The Lost City is a smidge better than Dog.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of was laughing when that trailer came out, like in a bad way, like who asked for this movie? But I've heard a lot of like surprise, positive things about it. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I haven't seen that one yet.
What? Oh, you're talking about The Lost City?
Yeah. No, I wasn't that interested at first, but I've heard a lot of like people that were like surprisingly pleased. So
I was one of them. So I was one of them, and let's see. I'm trying to think of who else was. Oh yeah, my buddy Zach Goller. He was really surprised at that one. I was just like, and with his review, that actually kind of got me to actually think about going to that movie. And I was just like, okay, I'll go check it out at a 150 showing. And much to my surprise, he was right. That was good. So let's see. Kill the Messenger is underrated, underappreciated. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I was gonna say I can't even think of what movie that is. You know who's in it?
I think Jeremy Renner's in that one. if I remember
Okay.
right. The Good Place, that I've never seen that either.
Isn't that a
Eagle Eye,
show?
I think that's a show. That's The Good Place. But let's see. Eagle Eye is very underrated. Stars Shia LaBeouf. I've never seen Eagle Eye. I've heard of it though. I know Shia LaBeouf's in that, but
The concept of that's really fun.
I'll have to check it out then. But let's not talk too much about Shia LaBeouf here on this stream. But because he's in quite a lot of trouble right now, so I'm not going to talk too much about him.
Yeah.
But let's see. The next one on my list, again, another movie I have in my background. I might be kind of biased with this one because I'm a fan of Jackass, and that's actually Skip Trace with Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I might be a little bit biased because I love Jackass, but
Sure.
Hey, Jackass is my thing, dude. But yeah, Skip Trace. Jackie Chan is playing a Hong Kong police detective, and Johnny Knoxville plays as a gambler. What more perfect way can you put it?
Sure. Yeah.
But of course, they had to team up in like a couple cases and what have you. But I remember really enjoying that film when I first watched it. It was really funny. I thought Chan and Knoxville really built good chemistry together. There's some good direction from Rennie Harlan. It was got some good action sequences.
That's a Rennie Harlan picture?
Yeah, it is from Rennie
Oh
Harlan.
Man. Did it go straight to DVD? I don't remember that being in theaters or anything.
I think it was in theaters, but if it wasn't, then yeah, it had to be straight to DVD.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't remember that one being in theaters, but that's awesome. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I can't admit though, like I know that film might be for cheap blast at some point. I don't know where I'm going with that, but because Johnny Knoxville is Johnny Knoxville, like whatever role you put in front of him, I think he'll do. But if it's like obviously he writes a lot of skits for Jackass, but you can't deny that he's a genius when it comes to writing, because he is a really funny guy and he knows exactly what he's doing.
And he's actually a very underrated actor. Like he's not bad.
I agree. I think people don't quote me on this, but I think he's honestly the most underrated actor there is. He's really, really underrated. Like, not enough people give him credit for his acting ability. Like, everyone just looks at him as like the Jackass guy. And I'm like, look at his other movies. Like, he is actually an actor.
Yeah,
like,
he's definitely good.
I'm trying to think of an example. A lot of people remember him from Men in Black 2 as the alien with two heads. That, oh my God. I loved his alien in Men in Black 2. He was like, tell me something we don't know. Yeah, tell me something we don't. It's you.
Yeah, so and he's like basically talking to himself, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could just call him the alien with two heads, but he has like an alien head in his backpack. I'm like, that is just picture perfect.
Shouts out to The Ringer as well. I know that one was controversial because of the subject matter and the fact that he was playing that type of disability on a person, but I think he had some really good dramatic moments there as well, like especially towards the end when he had to fess up a little bit. So
yeah, and I think I'm like, anytime I would think about The Ringer, I'm gonna hear people complaining about like when he's people are just gonna complain about him like, oh, he's not actually handicapped, and I'm like, that's the point. He's pretending to be a handicapped kid so he can get the money for his friend,
right?
But I don't know. But when he was acting like a handicapped kid, I thought that was really funny. Go, my name is Jeffy.
Right.
I don't know, man, but he's definitely doing his kind of typical Jackass stunts in The Ringer, but you can't overlook his dramatic moments with that movie for sure. You can't.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because that's what I remember the most. Like, I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of the jokes and stuff, but I really remember when he had the moment where he kind of came clean and he just he really like put his heart out there. He put his soul on the screen. I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other acting roles he did. He did the Dukes of Hazzard remake. It's a remake of the show, obviously.
And it was like the Broken Lizard guys kind of doing behind the camera. Jay Chandra Jeshkar or whatever.
J. Chandrasekhar. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I wasn't sure how to say it.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think that's a fun movie too. I don't think enough people really. I think a lot of people really hate that movie, and I'm like, okay. I mean, Knoxville and Sean William Scott really do have good chemistry with one another. I mean, that's not the only time they've appeared together in a movie. They were together at one point in Jackass 3D. Because the Blindside skit where basically he was playing as a coach, Sean William Scott was, and Knoxville was one of the football players. I still
doesn't he get
that.
laid out in that one? Like he gets
Right.
like they put him on the field and he gets tackled, right?
He got tackled.
Or was that a different skit? Okay, I think that was a different skit.
One. He got tackled like once by Jared Allen, and then all of a sudden, like at another point when he's trying to catch the football, he like busts right into him, and I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, didn't he get hospitalized?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. He didn't explain about that one from videos I've seen.
Yeah,
because it's not like one of their biggest moments. Like the biggest moment ones is definitely like the ones that, you know, like really cause like a lot of injuries or anything like that. But who am I to say? Let's catch up on this chat. Good Place is a 4-season show on Netflix. I'm happy to check it out. Scott Blood Skip Trace is okay. What are your votes for most underrated plot twist? That's a good question, actually. Loretto, like, what do you got for that one?
I actually have a good one for that one. Have you ever seen Identity?
Oh, yes, Identity. I remember that.
I love that picture. It's directed by James Mangold. People might have remembered him, doing Logan and 310 to Yuma and stuff like that. But Identity is really good. Loved it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but the twist is so unique. Like it was like at the time when like a lot of like films were kind of playing with a similar trope, but the way it was done in Identity, I thought was really, really well executed.
Oh yeah, I agree. One that I think, and actually, I don't think enough people really talk about for the twist. I don't know if this really would, count as underrated, but to me, not a lot of people really look at the twist. I'm actually going to go with Cruella.
Nice.
And
like, is it the twist in her character or just like in the plot point? I think I know what you're getting at.
The plot point twist.
Okay.
Like that twist came so out of left field, and I was just like, wait, what?
Right.
Don't tell me. No spoilers, of course, for anybody that hasn't seen Cruella, which blasphemous if you guys haven't seen it. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, honestly, that was one that maybe like it was like The Lost City for you, where I went into Cruella with really low expectations, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I did, and I thought they did a lot of great stuff with it. So
I agree. But yeah, I definitely really love that movie. Movies and Train Studios, another one of my constant viewers on my channel. What's up, my dude? And let's see. I'll go for another one right here. This is another one. This is not my background this time, but this is another 2021 release that really bombed at the box office, even more than Last Night in Soho. The Last Duel. The Last Duel. That movie. Come on, people. I mean, yes, it came out the same weekend as Halloween Kills. It was definitely in the wrong timeline, but still. You have a couple A-list names in there. And it's directed by a legend, Ridley Scott. I mean, you got Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck. Those are like A-list names right there. Oh, God. But the real show stealer.
Go ahead.
The real show stealer in my eyes was easily Jodie Comer. Like, bro, she nailed that movie, man. I don't know what it is.
Honestly, I think she was worthy of at least like a supporting actress nom. I know that field was loaded this year or last Academy Awards season, but she was brilliant. And honestly, Ridley Scott was the top of his game. He really brought his A game. I really liked like the Rashomon style of like perspectives where we got different points of view of the same situation. I thought that was really cool. And you know, there's a slow build to where we get to in the climax, but when it does hit, it's so intense and brutal, and I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really good. It was in my top 10, I think, for the year.
Might as well, my friend. I mean, I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters either, but I got it. I mean, I watched it when it came out. I picked it up on Blu-ray, but then obviously I rented it to 4K. But man, that movie's good. Like, and I don't know why Ben Affleck got nominated for a Razzie for that movie. Like, can you believe that?
He was great. And I mean, like, he was kind of a douche, but that was the whole point of his character. And I think if you didn't like him, it's like that was the whole point. He was a douchebag in that movie, but he plays a really good a-hole, you know? So,
yeah. But, like, then you just nominate him for a Razzie in the same category as Jared Leto's in. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no,
Jared
he didn't
Leto
deserve that.
was way worse.
And if anything, to be fair, I thought Ben Affleck stole the limelight from Matt Damon. And nothing against Matt Damon. I like Matt Damon, but I think Ben Affleck had the better performance. So there's that, you know.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, honestly. I really can't argue with that. This one isn't a super underrated movie, but as long more praise nowadays. But I think Looper's a good choice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson, man.
Yep. The movie that put Rian Johnson on the map.
Exactly.
And then he gave us the movie that made us all debate about Star Wars. But I'm one of those people that loves The Last Jedi. I don't care what anybody says.
I love The Last Jedi. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into it on here. I don't want to make anybody mad, but I loved The Last Jedi. And this is someone that
yes.
I grew up with the original trilogy. I don't understand what's got everybody in an uproar. I think, you know, some of the parts of the fandom just, that's all they want to do is just talk about how bad the new things are, you know? So.
Yep. Advertising. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, Last Duel wasn't marketed at all. I don't remember. I saw like one commercial ad for it in the theaters, and then maybe I don't even think I saw a TV spot for it, but it was not advertised at all.
Oh yeah, but you got like let's see what do you got for us next there, Loretto?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm really glad you brought up Jackie Chan. I'm actually a really big martial arts head. I grew up on a bunch of Jackie Chan VHS. I had one of those like Jackie Chan collections of like all his like classic like, you know, gung fu films, and then the first 3 police stories, which to be honest, that's like quintessential Jackie Chan. Like if you're gonna pick a Jackie Chan movie, you either watch Police Story or you'll watch Drunken Master, right? Like that's just peak Jackie right there. And I'm glad you picked him. So in that same vein, I wanted to highlight a film that I think for anyone that was like really into like the wuxia style of moments in Shang-Chi, and like they like Tony Leung, I highly, highly, highly recommend Hero. Came out, I believe it was 2004, I believe, or 2002. I always get those mixed up. But you know, it was right after on the heels of Crouching Tiger, and I hate when people make the comparison between the two because they're actually really different. But I love the cast in Hero. And then the director Zhang Yimou has like this really poetic and like really like entrancing visual style. He has this thing with colors that pop and have meanings for different scenes, and he's really, really visual that way, and I love that. And the cast is amazing. I mean, we got Tony Leung, of course, and he made his big American debut in Shang-Chi, but for years he was just huge overseas in China. Jet Li, of course, who, I mean, most American audiences know him now. Maggie Chung and Zhang Ziyi as well, with who she was like riding high at the time, and it's an excellent picture. Also, a really young Donnie Yen. This was before Ip Man, so we get a really young Donnie Yen, and there's actually a really cool battle between him and Jet Li, and that was before Donnie Yen was at the peak of his game. So that was a really, really cool battle to see. And you know, on top of the choreography, you got some really good performances as well. And again, it's one of those things where I don't really want to spoil the film because there's a really good twist in this film as well. But it's much better experience. So anyone that hasn't seen Hero and that's into that kind of style of film, just check it out. It's poetry. It's cinematic poetry, and it's one of my favorite films that I don't think enough people have seen.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's one of the films that you put on your list for this stream that I haven't seen, but based on your recommendation, man, I'll give it a check out. I think I will. So
2 enthusiastic thumbs up, man.
Yep, for sure. Trying to think. Next one is actually another film from last year. This is what I think that I think this was Megan Fox's comeback to acting, and that's Till Death. Pretty underrated movie, I'm not gonna lie. Like she's stuck in a marriage that she doesn't want to be in, and basically her husband's a psycho. I mean, it's not really the best way I solidified the plot, but I tried my best to do that without, getting all in detail. But yeah, Megan Fox, I think this was her comeback performance. I don't really have much else to say about Till Death. That's one of those films that I think you should go into not knowing much about.
Is it streaming anywhere, or?
I think it's on Netflix last time I remembered.
Okay, and did that have a theatrical release? I'm not familiar with the film.
I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did. I just don't remember exactly if it did or not. I mean, obviously, I didn't see it in theaters because I didn't have a theater around me that could play independent movies.
Sure. But yeah, what year was that, by the way?
That was from last year.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that was recent. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm gonna look at my shelf here. I'm trying to think. Okay. This is one that I really don't feel. I mean, yes, I know the original's a classic and all, but I prefer this one to the original. That I don't think enough people really talk about. I mean, yes, it's got mixed thoughts and everything, but I'm actually gonna go with the new Candyman. I love that new Candyman, my dude. I love it. Like, that was one of those films that shook me to my core when I first watched it in theaters. Like, and I saw it a few weeks late, and when I was watching it, like there were times I was like literally kind of getting goosebumps like watching that movie, and I was just like, what? Okay. If anybody has seen Candyman, you guys kind of know which scene I'm going to get into. But the bathroom massacre scene, like that scene scared me when I first watched it. That scene scared me. But I know the original's praised and all, but I prefer this new film to the original because I feel it's better directed. It tells a better story. And it also kind of is a better character study of our main character. Because the original Candyman just feels like a plot point you've seen done before. I mean, you can't say his name, and then somehow the main character gets accused of murdering some people. And I'm just like, I've seen that tons of times before. Like, but that's just me. I mean, I love the original Candyman, but the new one I think is better.
I actually agree in a lot of ways. And I went into the new one as a huge fan of the original. And I think that I was really puzzled when I saw a lot of people that felt like it didn't do the original justice. But I thought the film was a love letter to the original. And arguably, it's not even a remake. It's almost like a direct follow-up to the original. And I think I really like the way the marketing didn't present it that way. It's kind of like it's like a little bit of a twist, and like it blindsides you when you realize it's literally continuing the story of the original film. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think it did everything better. I think my only issue is it wasn't quite as scary as the first one, because the first one scared the crap out of me, especially that big jump scare through the mirror. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, where like the hook comes to the mirror. I like literally jumped out of my seat. I was really young back then, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, Candyman freaked me out. I was scared to say it in the mirror myself, like at that age. Like I was like shaking in my boots, So yeah, I thought the new one really honored that film, but also just they expanded on the lore in a way that I thought was really, really cool, especially when we got to the end. And that the final 10 minutes was just fantastic. I love that moment at the, it's almost like it's weird that you almost start cheering for him in a way, and it's just so great.
Yeah, like Like, whereas at some point, like, you think that he's just going to become like this new villainous man like he was in the original, and it's just like, nope, that like he's actually trying to save someone's life. And it's and it's like, hey, look, it's Candyman trying to save his wife. And I'm
Precisely,
just like,
and I loved that. I loved that.
yeah, and the way he massacred those cops at the end of the movie, dude. Ooh, that was gory, but I loved it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, since we're already in that territory, shouts out Tony Todd. Like that really warmed my heart when we got that little, like, he gave that little nod, and I was like, yes, like it
It was
was
like
so
the
cool.
final 10 seconds of the movie, and it's just like, boom, we give you something you wanted, and that's Tony Todd.
Yeah, I know, and I was just like, yes, like that was perfect.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm glad you chose that. No, I really like that Candyman. Nia DaCosta did great.
That it makes me interested in seeing the Captain Marvel sequel because of how she directed that new Candyman.
100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, hopefully she can kill it. I mean, she did a horror movie, so I mean, I can't see her not doing a Marvel movie. But like Jordan Peele is now done 3 horror movies, and he doesn't even want to direct a Marvel movie.
I was gonna say, I think he's doing fine without the MCU, and I think any filmmaker that feels like they don't need the MCU, I think they're doing something right. You know, like being able to stand on their own 2 feet without, depending on the big money machine, right? So
yeah, and that's what Jordan Peele's doing right now. So
yeah,
I'm proud of the guy. But don't be some kind of hypocrite, like where you're a filmmaker and you're making these big budget movies and saying that the MCU is ruining all cinema. No. I'm looking at you, Emmerich. I'm looking at you. God, that man is a hypocrite. Like, this is coming from this is coming from 2 guys that love the MCU. I mean, and love Marvel stuff, and especially what it's doing for cinema these days. But then we're subjected to hypocritical nonsense like Moonfall. God, man, that movie's just nonsense, but it's so dumb.
I was gonna say, I as a big fan, like, that watched Independence Day like almost every day one summer. It sucks to see him he took a huge downfall, and I think he doesn't have anything creative left to say, I think, with his filmmaking. But that's just my opinion. I didn't even watch Moonfall. It just didn't interest me. I was like, I don't know about this one. I don't think he's done anything that piqued my interest since like Day After Tomorrow, and that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna go see Moonfall. I'll just go see Jackass instead.
Oh, that was probably much better. It was awesome. I'm so glad I did that.
Oh, I did that too, dude. I did that too.
Jackass was awesome.
Oh man, that was the hardest I've laughed at any movie I've seen this year so far. Like, I mean, Chippendale Rescue Rangers is definitely a close edge right there, but nothing's gonna top Jackass Forever for me. Like,
I'm trying to think of one. I think that might be the same for me. I'm not sure if I saw any other films that made me laugh that hard, but yeah, I would agree. I had genuine belly laughs at that one, especially the sequence in the dark. With the fake rattlesnake. That was brilliant.
Oh my god,
brilliant! I could not stop laughing.
I was trying to think of that one scene where I really could not stop laughing. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the I don't remember. Oh crap! Like, but I was laughing and shocked at the same time. But the vulture scene, like where basically Steve-O and Chris Pontius are dressed up like dead people.
Yeah,
and they put meat on Wee Man's body, and then they have him feed to the vulture.
I felt so bad for Wee Man because you could tell at some point he was like over it. He was like, "Okay, I'm done." Like he was like, you can't fake that. Like he was over it. He was like, "Get me the hell out of here!" Like,
and then but the first time he laid down, like they saw something sticking out of his underwear, and Knox was like, "What do you have under there?" He's like, "Just me." He's like, "That's not just you." And he goes over, he takes the tap and he's like, "It's him."
You know what's cool too about that skit is that's like one of their legacy skits. I think they had like 3 or 4 of those because Steve-O and Pontius had they did a similar getup. It wasn't the same like joke skit, but like the dead person with the bringing life to someone thing was like they did it in the show years ago. So
Oh yeah, for sure. People should not complain about bad Star Wars content after Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 1 through 3. I agree. I mean, I haven't seen episode 3 of Obi-Wan, but I've seen the first 2 episodes, and I am in love with that show. So,
I'm of the opinion that there's a lot of people saying this and that about Book of Boba Fett, saying this about oh, there's too many cameos and it's just nostalgia, whatever. My thing is, if you're really a fan, like I don't think any real fan has anything to complain about for any of the content we've gotten. Like Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and it wasn't the best show of all time, but Book of Boba Fett had some really amazing moments, and seeing Cobb, no, not just Cobb Vanth, but Cad Bane, live action. It's like, come on, people, like you got to enjoy what we are getting, and it's like some people just you can't please them all, right? So
yeah, definitely one of those people that did not like The Last Jedi at all. I didn't want to get into. Really, dude? You compare Last Jedi to Alien 3? Oh my god!
What's funny is I don't even hate Alien 3, but I totally get why people are disappointed. I totally get it.
Yep. Another film extremely underrated. End of Watch. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. End of Watch.
I haven't seen that one. Michael Pena, right?
Yeah, Michael Pena and Jake Gyllenhaal.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's basically a crime cop movie, but kind of like in a found footage style from David Ayer. And I'm like, that's how you do found footage. See, not really excited for the Marvels because I did not like the first Captain Marvel, but maybe we'll see.
And just to kind of comment on that, I just feel like because of Nia DaCosta, like you got to kind of give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Because she didn't direct the first Captain Marvel, so anything you didn't like about it, they're almost cutting ties with that. So this is going to be like a fresh start for Captain Marvel. So I say anybody that didn't like the first film got to at least give this one a chance. At least
Yeah, a comic movie that is incredibly underappreciated, The Incredible Hulk. I 100% agree.
Yes.
Wasn't a huge fan of Book of Boba Fett. I haven't seen it. Can't really comment on it. But yeah, The Incredible Hulk, that is a definite hidden gem in comic book movies. Like, everyone just, like, goes past that one, and it's just like, no, Mark Ruffalo's the real Hulk. And I don't want to argue with that, but I felt like Edward Norton was the one that really shaped the Hulk and actually portrayed the character like how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually a big fan of Edward Norton. I know he has a little bit of a, what do you say, a big ego, I guess, and he likes to write things himself and he likes to take control of things. But I think he's just, if I'm being honest, a lot of talented artists are that way, and he wants things a certain way. And I think his vision for the film and for the character was really well done. Nothing against Mark Ruffalo, because I think he's great as well. But I actually prefer Edward Norton. I think I was really hoping to see Edward Norton, take the mantle alongside Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., but it just didn't work out that way. But yeah, Incredible Hulk has a lot of great moments. The chase through the favelas, and I really, really liked Tim Roth's portrayal in that film, and they play off each other really well. So,
oh yeah, I agree. And I even I'm trying to think of the term for that, but yeah, Edward Norton was fired because of what he did on the set of The Incredible Hulk. He was fired from the MCU, and I'm like, you couldn't at least give him one more chance to at least bring all these people together. And I'm just like, okay, Feige, thanks.
Well, I also heard there was reports of him just like taking too much creative control, rewriting the scripts on set
during that movie because of creative differences.
Right. So,
but I mean, I don't blame him. If I'm going to be honest, I really don't blame him. Because I see what he was going for, but I really wish that the studio kind of listened to him about, with the runtime, because the studio pushed it to be under 2 hours, and that's what we got. But Norton and the director Louis Leterrier were pushing for at least a 215-minute runtime, to at least include some of the footage of 70 minutes worth of footage that were left on the cutting room floor. They could have at least included at least 20 minutes to at least give the film some levity and actually help us get behind Banner's pain and why he's like this. But then he kind of just makes it go but then Revello just makes it go oh, Professor Hulk, he's supposed to be all nice and cool. I'm like, that's not Hulk. That is not Hulk at all, dude.
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't mind that side of Hulk, but at the same time, I know people want to see the ferocious Hulk. I know people are dying to, the Planet Hulk. I get it. World War Hulk and all that. So,
what are your thoughts about bringing back the Abomination and Shang-Chi? That was a good cameo.
That was awesome, and it was fun.
Yeah, having Wong fight against the Abomination, I was just like, there you go.
No, and Benedict Wong plays it so fun. I love how he was like, that really hurts, Emil. Because you can tell they're probably just throwing the fight or whatever, and he's like, dude, you really punched me.
Oh god,
I love Benedict Wong. He's great.
Shang-Chi. I love Shang-Chi, dude. I don't know what else you want me to say. But I even gotta say, some people will complain about Awkwafina's comedic performance in Shang-Chi. I thought she was hilarious.
She was great, and then she even honestly, I thought one of my favorite scenes between them was along the lake when Shang-Chi was opening up about him actually killing that guy. They played off each other really well, and Awkwafina as well did really really good in that part with the dramatic moment there.
Yeah, exactly, but most people don't really give her enough credit with her dramatic stuff, but she does really good with her, of course, with her comedy.
And also while we're on the topic, because of the theme of this stream, if anyone hasn't seen The Farewell, fantastic film.
Yes,
love The Farewell.
I agree,
and that's Awkwafina's shining moment. So
I agree. But one that I don't think she really gets enough praise for was this year's animated film called The Bad Guys. She plays as the tarantula, basically the hacker of the group.
I didn't realize she's in that movie. I feel like I should probably see that one.
That is a good cast. It's got Sam Rockwell, it's got Craig Robinson, Awkwafina, Anthony Ramos from In the Heights, and I'm just like, and Mark Maron's also in it too.
That's awesome. No, and you had me at Sam Rockwell. I got to check that out.
I think Sam Rockwell was easily the best part of the movie. I mean, his voice as Mr. Wolf, and him being so subtle, I'm just like, there's a reason why people why he got cast for this movie. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, no, and honestly, he's so damn cool. You know what I mean? Damn near I mean, maybe not the vice president thing, but what role was that? He was in Vice, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was playing as President Bush.
Right. So maybe not as cool there, but I mean, every other role he's done, he's just been so suave, So, I mean, a lot of people remember him as Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2, So
I'm not gonna lie, he was one of the saving graces of Iron Man 2 for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I didn't like his dialogue, but him performing in that movie, I was just like, okay, you got me. But I'm one of those people that doesn't hate Iron Man 2, but it's definitely my bottom 5 of the MCU. It's just not the best. It's definitely a mess, but
it's definitely a filler episode, is what that movie feels like. It feels like filler in a long TV show.
I don't know. I don't know what I would say. It kind of feels like a filler episode of a DC show. Is what it feels like. But okay, that was kind of a weird comparison, but that's just me.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Because think about the latest DC show we got, which was Peacemaker. There were no filler episodes in that show at all for me.
I was gonna say, I actually haven't had a chance to see that yet. I've heard mostly positive reviews, especially some from peers that I really trust. So definitely on my watch list.
mean, if you love the Suicide Squad, you're really gonna enjoy Peacemaker.
Cool. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the Suicide Squad.
I do too. I do too. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, one that I have in the thumbnail. We both had this on our list. Charade.
Nice.
As a hidden gem.
I would say if it's not obvious, I love Audrey Hepburn. So.
I don't blame you, man. That's a great movie. And you know, when I watched that for the first time last year, and that was really good. So
it's so fun, you know. It's like one of those like spy thriller mysteries, but it's like so fun the way Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn play off each other. Just remarkable chemistry by two mega stars. I mean, they're just oozing with star power. It's almost effortless the way they like flirt with each other, and you know the way their story goes on, and you don't even know who Cary Grant is, which I just love, especially like, you know, the big moment in the end where she's like, "Oh, Peter, Andrew, I don't know your name, but I think I love you." You know, I love that. Like whatever your name is, because he kept changing his name, you know. So,
right.
Love that movie, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Love Charade. Another one of my all-time favorites. If you didn't know, that's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, that's it. Some people might compare it to some early Hitchcock thrillers, which I can definitely understand. But I kind of felt that was the point, you know, kind of make like a little 60s Hitchcockian kind of thriller.
Yeah, that's 100% the vibe that I got from it. So,
oh yeah, definitely, I agree. But another movie from this year that I think a lot of people like, this is honestly one of the more controversial movies, or not really controversial. I should say more polarizing movies of the year. This is like the first most polarizing Pixar movie that we've ever gotten, and that's Turning Red. That movie's really polarizing, and I'm like, and there's some of my friends that consider it the worst Pixar movie, and I'm like, you people have not watched Cars 2. That is way, way worse than Turning Red.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the people that was really appalled by the backlash on it. Like, I am sorry, not everybody in the United States or across the world for that matter is a 13-year-old girl in Canada, but that is missing the point of this movie. I think whether or not you're a 13-year-old girl in Toronto, you can relate to the themes and the message that's delivered in this movie, like, you know, finding oneself and not always having to appease your parents, or actually just even just butting heads with your parents. Like, that's relatable, you know, and just wanting to hang out with your friends. But I love Turning Red. Awesome. Awesome movie. And actually, you know what? Turning Red was up there for me. I don't know if it's funnier than Jackass, but Turning Red had some really good laughs for me. Like, I had so much fun with it.
Me too, dude.
Like, especially when the mom's outside of the school and she's like getting into it with the security guard.
Your pads.
Oh man, no! And then like the fact that like she's shooing the security guard away, and he's like, "Who are you? Get out of here!" Like,
and I love that. She literally just like kicks him like right in the shin.
Right. And if you're a security guard, you're like, "This is a crazy person." You know what I mean?
Like this is just one crazy mom that is just trying to embarrass her own daughter.
That scene is so good. God. I was really laughing on that one.
I especially love the scene like when they're doing like this little montage of trying to get the money to go to the concert. I especially love this scene like when Tyler's in line and then basically Abby stops and was like, "No, Tyler's."
And then he turns out to be a 4-townie in the end. Like, beautiful.
That was good. That was good. That was like
you're a 4-townie.
Like. May was the one that was most shocked to see that he was a 4-townie.
Yeah, no, but I love that they embrace him immediately. They're like, you're one of us. Like,
he's like, oh,
don't be a hater. Yeah, exactly. I loved that. Like, that was great.
And I especially love the climax of that movie down at the stadium. Like when, like her mom, like the mom's panda, like, dude, she is gigantic.
Yeah, she was a mega panda.
I was like, Is this like Godzilla versus Kong 2.0 in Toronto? But that was
great. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed that film. I saw it more than once. I was having such a great time with it. And the music.
I've seen it 3 times.
The music was great. So catchy.
Oh. The like the "Nobody Like You" song, dude. That song stuck in my head right now. As even as
It's an earworm. Yeah.
So good. Like, I don't know about you, man, but I mean, it's not the best Pixar film. Let's get that out of the way. Not the best, but
oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest about this though. I think it is better, a little bit better than Luca. If I'm gonna be honest, it's a little better. I mean,
I would say I can't really compare the two, but I like both films. I would have to really reanalyze both to really do that, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know,
but actually, you know what? I mean, you know, I would never like disagree with someone that feels that way. So,
oh yeah, I find Turning Red a little bit more relatable. If I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, in regards to her character, because I definitely was a dork in my school years. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit that. Because, but I don't know. And there were people that were definitely ganging up all around me and everything. But
you know, Luke, can I say I love that you mentioned that, and that's actually one of the reasons why I resonated with it as well. It's like Mei Mei really owned being herself. It didn't matter that she was a band geek and that she was good at math or whatever. Like, she owned it and she was happy. And I think that's a good message for kids to have, like someone to look up to in that manner, like owning what you are and what you like, because that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whether you like D&D or whatever, painting, or it's like, it's okay to be you and just like it and love it and own it. Like, I love that. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, for a person like me, like I'm a big, like for people like us, we're big film buffs, and for someone like me, I'm a huge physical media collector. Even if I collect any bad movies, just deal with it. That's kind of the whole point of my collection. I want to buy some bad movies, like, because some people were giving me a lot of crap that I bought Infinite in my collection, and because I did not finish that movie, for one, I don't have Paramount Plus. Is another reason why I bought it. So
I'm literally searching that on IMDb because I don't even know what the heck that is. Oh, okay. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I did not finish that movie because my cousins had Paramount Plus. My cousins had Paramount Plus. I got about 25 minutes in, and I was just like, I'm done. So I got the 4K of it just to give the film another chance. At least I'm being fair. Like,
yeah.
Like, give me credit for that. At least I'm being fair.
Yeah. No, I respect that.
Yeah, but then it's just like people are just like, oh, why did you buy Infinite? Because you didn't finish it. I don't need that many streaming services like Paramount Plus. I have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max. That's good enough for me. I don't need Paramount Plus. I have plenty of Paramount movies behind me, so I don't need Paramount Plus. I mean, why have Paramount Plus if you have all the Jackass movies, for example? Like, why have that?
Right. Or if you have all the Paramount Plus has Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big pull if you're into that. But then if you don't care for it, it's like, like,
yeah. Their original films have not really been all that good. Because let's see. I didn't finish Infinite, and I didn't finish Rumble. I actually got a little bit further into Rumble than I did with Infinite, and I'm like, I should have just finished Infinite.
Wasn't Rumble supposed to be in theaters? I think it just didn't make it, right?
No, it didn't. It just got dumped on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
I mean, and it was for good reason. Nobody really. I'm sure nobody would have went and saw it.
I was gonna say, I remember being underwhelmed by the trailer, and you know, to be fair, there's a lot of anime films where sometimes I'm just kind of like, it's not for me. So, you know, like there's really got to be something special, you know?
Like, you just look at the trailer and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, The Bad Guys was actually how I felt first. Like, when my best friend showed me the trailer for it, and I was just like, I don't know, but it's got to be cast. But then the more I thought about it with the cast that it had, I was like, I am signed up for this.
And to be fair, not to trash on it already, but Paws of Fury is giving me those vibes. Paws of Fury, The Ballad of Hank, like Samuel Jackson, Michael Cera. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the trailer. It felt really generic, and
I mean, like the ending of that trailer where they're just going like running back and forth. I'm just like, I've seen that done a dozen times. Like, what else do you want from me?
Right. I was gonna say, I feel like that joke has been like beating a dead horse. Like, So,
Like,
yeah, didn't
I
do
feel
anything
like
for
I've
me.
seen that joke like done 1,000 times, like 100 years ago.
Right, and also it's like after like Kung Fu Panda, it's like, did we really need another anthropomorphic kung fu animal thing? You know, I don't know. And I know samurai is different, but I'm just saying like along those lines, you know. So
Yeah, because I saw that trailer when I went and saw the Bob's Burgers movie, and I was like, you people, like the people that are working at this theater messed something up here, because Bob's Burgers is adult animation, but this is for kids.
right.
Like, play some more adult movies, like for trailers. It doesn't even have to be animated. It could be something like, Bullet Train or something. It could be like the Black Phone. Like, and by the way, I did watch that trailer for Bullet Train when I went and saw Top Gun Maverick on Sunday. That looks like so much fun. I am actually really excited for Bullet Train.
And also as someone like I'm a fan of Brad Pitt, it's nice to see him do some like some fun roles. You know, he does a lot of like, he kind of balances it out, but it's nice to see him back in like an action-packed role. I think he's really good at it. So,
and from the guy that directed Deadpool too, so that makes me a little bit more excited.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for Bullet Train, and also they literally played a trailer for Minions: The Rise of Gru when I went and saw Bob's Burgers. I was like, okay, you really messed up this time. I mean, come on, the Minions Assemble thing. Come on, people, we're tired of you making fun of Marvel.
I'm not gonna lie, I tuned out during that trailer. I wasn't even paying attention. I think I was tweeting something during that trailer. So
yeah, Sonic can make fun of the MCU all he wants because he's Sonic. Like if you remember some of those references in both the first and second movie, he does make fun of Marvel, and I think he does it so much better. Like in the second movie, of course, like, oh great, the Winter Soldier, like
nice.
That was one of the funniest references I've ever heard. Like for Marvel, that was so funny.
I was gonna say both Sonic films have been huge, pleasant surprises for me. Like I didn't think they were gonna be good at all, and I actually ended up liking both of them surprisingly. So.
I mean, the second one. I mean, I knew what I was wanting out of the second movie. I mean, and it gave me everything I wanted. So that's kind of why I hold that film in a little bit more higher regard than most people do. Like a lot of people hold it as like, oh, it's another just average video game movie, and I'm like, nah. I mean, have you not seen like any terrible video game movies? Like there are a lot of bad video game movies.
Yeah. And also, that Sonic 2 looks really good. I really liked the visual effects on it, especially at the temple and like when he's running over the water. It looks really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if people say that the visuals aren't good, I mean, like this is advanced technology.
Like, yeah, no, I thought it looked great. You know.
Yeah.
And like seeing like little like Knuckles and his and Tails like spines and fur, and I thought it looked pretty good. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that post-credit scene at Sonic 2, bro, I was like, oh my god, they're doing it. They're doing it. No spoilers,
they went there.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah, they went there though.
Yeah. I was like because like, Jim Carrey said he's like, considering retiring. If that was his last role, dude, bravo.
Oh yeah, no, and honestly, he was just going full Jim Carrey during Sonic 2, man.
Jim Carrey though, dude.
Yeah, he was just on it.
Someone call an Uber.
So good.
God. Idris Elba as Knuckles. I thought that was a perfect addition. Dot.
Oh yeah.
Dot. I love that. I love it. He was just going, just like. They're in the coffee shop, and then basically they're trying to go over the plan. He's like, Dot.
Right.
Oh God, I thought Idris Elba was the perfect cast for Knuckles. I mean, he doesn't sound like Knuckles, but I think he was a good addition to the series.
Yeah. No, and they kind of gave him that Drax energy, with a big dumb guy. So.
But he's not like over the top like Drax was in Guardians Volume 2.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Drax was a little bit overkill on that one, but yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, I mean, I can't deny that. see. Let's get through a couple more here. Trying to see what else I got. If you got a couple more while I'm looking, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, besides martial arts, I'm also a big horror head. And in honor of his big return, because he's been gone for a while, I wanted to highlight T. West's House of the Devil.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
one of my favorite horror films in the past like 10, 15 years. It just really, really great callback to like 80s, 70s grindhouse. Like it's grimy. It has the grainy like title card, kind of like Death Proof and Kill Bill had, and it has that energy, and it has a great soundtrack, and there's a cameo, or not cameo, but there's like a side role by Greta Gerwig before she started directing awesome films herself. And Tom Noonan is just so good, so good. I'm actually gonna bring him up later, but yeah, it's a really great slow burn. It builds and builds and builds, and when you get to the last 20-30 minutes, it's just you're gripping the the edge of your seat. You're just along for the ride in House of the Devil, and it's really, really well done. Like I said, one of my favorite horror films in the past 15-20 years.
I did watch it, and it was good. I mean, I didn't love it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked it. I mean, this didn't really feel like a movie for me, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's good, but just wasn't really for me.
that's fair.
I mean, I honestly prefer X over the House of the Devil, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think X is more better done. I think it's a little bit more shocking. I mean,
Yeah.
and especially since there's more like practical gore effects in that movie, I'm like, that's how you do it. That's how you do gore effects. No CGI gore, please.
Yeah. No, and to be fair, I mean, I'm like complete opposite. I was a little bit let down by X, but I did enjoy it for the most part. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to blame you for this, but I did think you kind of overhyped it a little bit for me for the House of the Devil, but that's fine. I mean, there are going to be people.
Hey, I mean, well, that's film, right?
Yeah,
like just because I love
that.
something, I'm not. You're not gonna love it too. I mean, it's like we have differences in opinions here and there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, trying to think of one movie that they expect. Like, think of a movie called Censor from last year. Like some people expected me to love that film, and I was like, it's good. It's not really my cup of tea. I mean, it's got a lot of good gore and stuff, but it's not really for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like people just say like if you're just like if this, or just call it boring, you don't really have a valid opinion. But if a film really bores you, you can say it's boring. Like I'm trying to think. Like, what's one film like to you that like people really were like like, oh my god, did you see this? And it's like, it's boring.
Oh man. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I don't like the first Hellraiser.
Oh no.
It's just like, okay, like that's a perfect example of not for me. Like I'm not into the skinless guy and the S&M demon Cenobites, whatever you want to call them. And I mean, like Doug Bradley's great, but he's in the film for like 5 minutes. He's barely in the movie, and it was not what I expected. I was expecting like this horrific blood fest, and it was kind of like a really slow burn that didn't burn well for me.
That's totally fine. I mean, I'm one of those people that has Hellraiser as their favorite horror film. I mean, but
see, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm not mad at you, but I mean, it may have seemed like I was mad for a second, but I'm not. Like,
it's fine. You were shocked. It's okay. You were shocked. Yeah. Just I didn't enjoy it. I barely got through it.
I remember, like, because I recommended Zach to review it for his Halloween special last year, but I did warn him. Not to expect a lot of Pinhead or a lot of like a huge like bloodbath. I told him not to expect that, and he literally admitted that I was right. Like,
well, you know what I will say though, I really, really enjoyed Hellbound a lot more. I liked the world building there and kind of exploring the backstory of Pinhead. I thought that was more interesting to me than, I can't even remember the guy's name. The guy who found the box and was looking for the great pleasure in life or whatever. I don't know. I just couldn't.
Back to hell.
Yeah, I couldn't with him. That's
that's
murdering
fine.
to replenish his soul or whatever. Like,
that's fine. I mean, all horror is subjective. I mean, like, there's not going to be like not all horror films are going to be for everybody. Like, example, like X, that's not for everybody.
Oh, definitely not. I know someone that walked out of that because they just didn't like it. So yeah, like I know someone that just walked out. They're like, yeah, didn't like it. So
and that's totally fair. I mean, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of sexual content in X. Like, that was to be expected if you have a film called X.
I think whoever that, I think people that didn't like it, I think they really didn't know what they're getting into, right? So
oh yeah. They just watched the trailer and they're like, oh, it's gonna be a huge gore fest. It's a gore fest towards the end of the film,
right?
But for most of the movie, it's kind of like them making this like little dirty flick around the spawn.
Oh, it's very, very porn heavy in the beginning.
Perfect culmination right there. That basically does it right there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, even like comedy is all subjective. Like, everyone has their own taste of humor. Like, I mean, Jackass is not for everybody, and that's morely my type of humor. Some people might be into parody films, like, those silly slapstick parody films. That's totally fine. But you got to know what kind of parody films you get into, though. I'm gonna fully warn you on that.
Yeah, like there's a difference between Airplane and disaster movie, right?
Airplane is one of the greatest spoof movies ever made. I mean, it might even be the greatest spoof movie ever made.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I'll just say, like, maybe Naked Gun gives it a run for its money, but I mean, there would be no.
I love Naked Gun.
Like, you know what I mean? Naked Gun's so good, but there would be no Naked Gun without Airplane. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I even love the third act to Naked Gun 33 and the third, the final install, which is the third movie, where they're basically doing the Oscars.
Yes.
Red Ward, or Rocco, shoots a gun up in the air. He's like, freeze, and nobody gets hurt. And then a guy falls.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's great. And then doesn't he like ask for the cops' guns, and then you just see like 50 guns like flood the stage, and then like I swear, like, isn't there? I think it's like hand or something. Like, it's like.
I especially love the dance sequence when they're supposed to slide underneath each other, and then Leslie Nielsen and then Frank Drebin just goes like right in between all of their crotches.
Yeah, he's like hitting everybody in the nuts. Yeah.
And I was just like, bro, that sounds like pure Jackass humor right there.
Yeah, hey, R.I.P. Leslie Nielsen, man. He was his comedic timing was just impeccable. Like,
yeah, I feel like the Naked Gun sequels are kind of hidden gems in my eyes. A lot of people just look at the first movie, and I'm just like, the sequels are funny too.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
and actually, he had a good run up until I think the shtick got kind of old going into the later '90s. But even up until like Dracula Dead and Loving It by Mel Brooks, I am a huge supporter of that one. It kind of flopped, and that was Mel Brooks' last big picture. And I liked Dracula Dead and Loving It. I thought Leslie Nielsen was hilarious, but
yeah, I really feel like that. I don't know. His shtick did get kind of old. Like, even during the early 2000s when he was in movies like the Scary Movie 3 and 4. I felt like his shtick got a little bit old on that. But what the film that really almost made me lost him for that was Mr. Magoo, where basically he's the blind man cartoon, and it's just like, you're insulting every blind man in the world.
Yeah. No, that was unwatchable. I actually don't even remember it. I don't think I finished it.
I kind of have a nostalgia with that movie. So
yeah.
But again, all comedy is subjective. I mean, well, like I said with parody films, like, you look at classics like Airplane, and then you compare them to films like Epic Movie, and it's just like, no, like, they literally parody Willy Wonka in the most disgraceful way possible. Like, and I'm just like, okay, Jason Friedberg and Seltzer, you really need to go back to film school.
Yeah. No, honestly, I mean, I can't believe they got so many of those movie films made, like Date Movie and whatever super epic movie. Yeah, like you said, epic movie, disaster movie. It's just I can't believe they got so many of those greenlit. It's sad.
Meet the Spartans.
Yeah, or
Come on, man.
vampires suck or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Starving Games. We can just like go
Ugh.
around and name all of those. Like, I mean, there was one moment in Meet the Spartans that actually did make me laugh. Surprisingly, I mean, I know I seem like a cringy 12-year-old boy, but this is just me. Like when the American Idol judges showed up, before they got into the hole, and basically they were all criticizing on what was his name, Leonidas, for his kicks. He's like, "Oh, go yourselves!" Like they literally censored that, and then he pushed them all in the pit.
That's hella funny. I was gonna say, I feel like, you know, maybe every once in a while they hit, but I think most of the time though, their jokes are like low hanging fruit, which is why like a lot of their jokes don't land for me because it's just like, oh, of course you guys did that or said that, and it's like uninspired.
It's just, like that's just a joke that a kid would come up with.
Right.
Like example, like I'm trying to think the the Pirates of the Caribbean parody and epic movie. That is something a freaking 5-year-old would come up with.
Right.
Like,
or like when they spoofed Superman Returns and they do the slow-mo in the eye and then he's like, oh, it's like,
he's like, oh
okay.
my god, you shot me in the fucking eye. That really hurts. Why would you do that? And
it's
then he
like,
just falls
okay.
over. Like, come on, that is something a 3-year-old kid would write.
Right. It's just like uninspired.
I don't know about you, but at one point I literally wanted to parody that scene and like, you know, just insult Freeberg and Seltzer for doing that scene. Like, you know, go on top of a building and obviously have inflatables down at the bottom, so like for safer landing, because obviously you don't want anyone to, like, you know, die from falling a building or heck even suffering a concussion. But I literally wanted to rub it in their face to say, hey, I can make it funnier than you.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I even also almost wanted to parody the scene from Super Troopers when Fargo literally tackles down the guy at the Dimpus Burger restaurant. Like when he's trying to, like, you know, tear the thing off, like, you know, win a prize, and it's like, damn it, you burger punk, you son of a bitch. And he literally tackles him down.
I was gonna say, speaking of like underrated movies, I think like that's a cult classic that I think you either like know what that movie is and you love it, or you're just like, what the hell is that? Because that's happened to me where I made a Super Troopers joke and there was someone in the room that just had no idea what I was talking about, you know? So
yeah, and I'm trying to, like, even like if you make like a joke from Beer Fest, I mean, no one's gonna know what you're talking about.
Yes, I love that movie.
I do too, man. I love
Grandpapa. So fun.
With the skinnies in your alley wickies, you plunker. Do you know what he's saying?
Make fast! Make very fast! That chase is so like ridiculous.
Like when Landfill falls into this big giant cup of beer, and then the lady tries to be like, kill him. And he starts trying to drug down all the beer just to get out of it, but then eventually he dies. I'm just like, what? You would die from chugging that much beer.
Movie's so ridiculous. No, and like Donald Sutherland on his like deathbed just chugging brewskis, like so good.
Oh my god. Like that is a movie like you have to know what you're getting into. Like, oh, yeah. No question.
Oh yeah.
If you see a movie called Beer Fest and it's just like, oh, it's just gonna be these guys just drinking beer. Well, yeah, but this is a Broken Lizard comedy, so you should know what you're getting into by that time.
Yeah.
I mean, even I told my friends, like, when I was doing my one of my co-hosts to do for watch-alongs now, with the Jackass movies, I was like, you should know what you're getting into there, my friend, because Jackass is Jackass. Like, even like if you watch those watch along videos we did, like my co-host literally has some of the funniest reactions you'll ever see for a watch along.
You know what's funny too is I think some people that try to watch Jackass are probably just expecting strictly like slapstick, oh, somebody gets hit in the head kind of humor, but I think they don't realize how much dicks they're gonna get. Like how many like balls and like naked butts they're gonna see. I think that kind of turns people off too. Like I think people just don't realize like what they're getting into. Like they're like half naked in like almost every single film, like just doing
Yeah, I
something
mean, especially
ridiculous
the
to
scene.
themselves. Like
Yeah, I mean, especially the scene in Jackass Forever, like when you see it's like a small little boxing, like a little boxing stadium that you see, and then all of a sudden it like pans over, and then it's Preston's ball.
that scene actually made me laugh. That got me too. Like I was dying, and what killed me was like they were like, "Can we do that again?" And they were like shoving his balls back into the scene, and he's like, and they did it again, like,
And
getting his balls just punched.
Like when Aaron was like pulling his balls down, and he rubbed it against boobies, and I'm like,
oh my god, like it's like what's funny is like that's such a lowbrow humor, but it's just I mean the way they execute it is just it's funny, it's great.
exactly another good example of I mean, it may seem like lowbrow humor when you really look at it, but like the bicycle backhand scene, like both times when they got smacked in, like the first time Steve-O got smacked in, but you could tell that it was after the bit they filmed. But the one that really got me was when Machine Gun Kelly got smacked in.
No, it's always
God.
great to see the celebrities get it, like that's always the fun part.
And he was just like, I thought my hand was your hand. And the Knoxville even admits, like, maybe I didn't explain it right. But I think I'm not gonna lie, Jackass Forever may have my favorite opening scene of the entire Jackass series.
Right. No, and it's ridiculous, but it's so funny. Like Cockzilla or whatever, right?
Oh my god! Like I didn't even think that was Pontius's penis when I first watched it. I was like, is that like a mini Godzilla or something? But then I come to realize when they introduced Chris Pontius, I was like, nope, he's naked.
Right. No, and it's funny because at first glance you're like, what is that? And then you really look closer and you're like, oh, that's a penis. That's a penis.
Like, yeah. I mean, I even love the part like when Steve-O goes into the porta potty and then Pontius just smacks the porta potty. He just goes, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was just like, that reminded me of the Puma Cocktail Supreme from Jackass 3D.
Yeah, to be fair, that was definitely like the most high budget Jackass intro ever. It was so cinematic, especially the big splooge moment at the end of it, where they're just getting drenched and like covered in it. Like,
I mean, especially when Knoxville tried to calm the monster down, and then all of a sudden, boom, his head's gone.
Oh man,
like I don't know, man, but the scene that made me literally kind of like scream in the theater, I was like, oh god, was the magic trick stunt towards the end of the movie. That scene, I'm not gonna lie, that made me feel bad for Johnny.
Yeah, no, and you could kind of tell it was very bittersweet. It was like he's not getting any younger, and some of the stuff he really puts himself on the line. So
yeah, I mean, but the type of magic trick stunt you see in the movie, that was the second time he actually had to do that.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I can see why you wanted to do it a second time. I definitely see why. Because like he even said that on the first time the bull didn't come at him for like 90 seconds, and then when he finally came at him, he just smoked him in the ribs and then put him out like a cigarette into the ground. And like it was one of those things like that it hurt, but it wasn't like good enough for the movie. So like I don't know, man, but I definitely understand like why he went again. But still, though,
that guy's got balls of steel, man. He's fearless. I couldn't do half the stuff he does, man.
Yeah, I mean, oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Another prank that made me laugh out loud was the telephone pole prank. like when he's basically he pretends like he's a telephone pole fixer, and he tries to get a lady, you know, to pull the lever, you know, to get him closer.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember that. And like the lady's like freaking out, like not sure what to do, how to fix it, and she makes it worse. And
you forgot to slide. Well, you gotta hit something. I gotta get down from here. Which one? Well, don't hit the ones you've been hitting because you've been hitting the wrong ones. Well, I could tell she was hitting the wrong ones because I think Knoxville even got electrocuted.
I was gonna say, I mean, some of that, you know, looked real, but at the same time, like he, like as an actor, he does really well in the Jackass skits as well. So
I agree. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the scene like when they prank Dave England for an interview, and then all of a sudden he gets 5 gallons of pig semen dumped on him. That was gross, but funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like again, that's on brand for them. I mean, half of it's like physical, like brutal humor, and the other half is just gross. So.
But these guys know how to do gross out humor and actually make it funny.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like, let's see. Like, of course, like I said, the scene like when Dave England got 5 gallons of pig semen dumped on him. Even the Dirty Dancing scene when Preston Lacey accidentally crapped his pants.
Right.
Like they even like made Lance like try to get like another close-up shot of it, like when he actually like took the suit off, and I was just like, don't give me that, please.
Yeah, I was say I don't do well with that kind of stuff. I'm just like, ugh.
But yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna point out a couple more hidden gems, and I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. If that sounds okay to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my battery might crap out, so if I disappear, I will come back.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just realized I don't have my charger on my laptop, so just forewarning.
Oh yeah, no big deal. But one I definitely have to point out, I'm trying to remember it correctly, is another one of my favorite films of all time, and probably easily one of my favorite foreign films, is actually I Saw the Devil. Nobody talks about I Saw the Devil. It's so freaking brutal and dude. When I was first watching that movie, I was not ready for how gory that movie was going to be. Like, I think there was a scene like when like a guy's like jaw comes off, and I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
What am I watching? But
and I think like on like you know, subverting expectations is a tricky thing. You either get it right or you don't. But I think that film, it kept surprising me. Like just when I thought I was going one way, it would go the other way, and I'm like, oh my god! Or like you think that, you know, the protagonist has the upper hand, but it's like, hey, you can't underestimate the other guy because he's insane too. Like they're both just viciously wicked to each other, and it's like a cat and mouse game between two like straight killers. Like, so love that film, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that. Sorry guys for ignoring the chat. Unrated musical score. We'll get to that in just a minute. Mel Brooks is the king at parody movies. I agree. Black Dynamite is a really good Gold Pizza Brain's favorite parody movie. I mean, Black Dynamite's good. That's a good one. Parodying the 1970s, that is just perfectly done. Spaceballs.
I love Spaceballs.
I mean,
you went over my helmet?
Take this thing off. I can't breathe through this helmet.
When does then become now? Right now.
Right now.
You just missed it.
Oh God, I love.
Or when they're combing the desert. We ain't found shit. With a little ass afro pick. Like they're holding like the little like 3 teeth, 4 teeth afro pick. Oh my goodness.
God,
I love Space. Mel Brooks is a genius, man. And what's funny, like his jokes have a lot of like meaning, like especially the merchandising, Spaceballs the toilet paper, Spaceballs the towel. Like Like it's true. Like merchandising is everything now. Like even now. Like
Oh,
that's a
gosh.
good one. I
Oh,
knew
man.
it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Thanks, Charles. Oh,
Major
God.
asshole, sir.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't really consider Spaceballs a hidden gem if I'm gonna be honest. That is definitely a popular movie. But one I definitely got to consider a hidden gem. This one I hold a high nostalgia value with. I got to go with Robots. I'm gonna be honest. Robots. I hold a high nostalgia value with Robots. It's just so funny. Uh-oh. I think we might have lost him. Uh-oh. Oh no, Loretto. I think Loretto froze. Not gonna wrap this up yet, guys. I'm just gonna wait until he kind of comes back up. He'll be back in just a minute. Okay, there we go. We're back on. You went offline for a second.
I was gonna say, luckily, I have my work laptop that just died, has a better camera, but I do have my personal laptop. It's just camera quality is not as good.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, one that I really got to go with for a hidden gem because of my nostalgia value is Robots. That movie has a lot more adult humor than people really give it credit for, and I'm like, yeah, like you look at some jokes in that movie, and you can tell that it's definitely adult humor. Like Aunt Fanny, it was like we couldn't call her Aunt Booty because she has that big butt, and I'm like, oh my god.
I was gonna say, isn't that Ewan McGregor as the lead robot?
Yeah.
Nice. And Robin Williams, of course, and there's Mel Brooks in that. He's like the mayor or whatever, right?
Yeah. See, it's got Greg Kinnear. It's also got Halle Berry, Amanda Bynes. Like that movie has a cast right there. Yeah. That's a cast for animation right there. I can't lie, and I hold a really high nostalgia value with that movie. So I know people that hate Robots, but that's on you. That's on you if you hate it. But yeah, I can't lie. But and one last one I really got to point out here. I don't know if I can find it on my shelf. Yeah, I think the last one for me that I really feel like I should point out, like, I don't care what anybody says, dude. I know this film is big and all. It's a big project, like Marvel. But I think that Eternals does not deserve the hate that it gets. I am one of the Eternals defenders here.
I am with you. You have my sword.
Yes. Like, as I was watching that film in the theater, I was just like, I don't know why you people hate this movie. Yep. I got Icarus and Gilgamesh up behind me.
I was gonna say I'm a huge Don Lee guy, so I had to go with Gilgamesh, man. But I loved Eternals. It was really fun, and honestly, it had me really emotional. I really got invested in that. Nice. Is that the 4K?
Yep. And, dude, just look at that slipcover. It's nice and embossed.
Whew, it's gorgeous.
The movie is gorgeous itself. I mean, thank you, Chloe Zhao, for directing that movie. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, no, and then almost every single shot was just that's her to her core. I mean, she's a very visual storyteller as well. So.
Yeah, and I know there are going to be people that disagree, but I prefer this to Nomadland, no question. I prefer Eternals to Nomadland.
Epic.
Yeah, because Nomadland did not deserve to win Best Picture. Let's be real here. That did not deserve to win at all.
I was gonna say, I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I liked it more than most. But I agree with you. I'm not sure if it was the best picture of the year, but I agree with more often than not that it's not the best picture of that year. So.
it's not like the best movie of the year because like heck, I didn't even have that as my favorite of the year. I had like Promising Young Woman as my favorite, and I'm like, that's what should have won Best Picture right there.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to remember the rest of that field. Was it? That wasn't Judas and the Black Messiah year, was it?
Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah was in that.
I was gonna say that would have been my pick, and I think Minari was in that same year, right?
Yep.
So I think Minari or Judas, those to me felt more like deserving of a Best Picture there. But you know, that was a good field. That was a really strong year for film, honestly.
Yeah, like I would like Promising Young Woman and Sound of Metal were my two picks because
Sound of Metal, oh, so good.
Yeah, Sound of Metal, dude. I love that film. One of my favorites. Love Sound of Metal.
That one, and it's interesting too because like that's such a simple film, but it's so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah.
Riz Ahmed just kills it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot who won Best Actor. Actually, I kind of forgot.
I know. I was gonna say. I was like, I know there was a big race there.
It was just for that.
I know
one
Stephen Yeun was nominated.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins! I forgot he won.
Oh.
I forgot that Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor. Yes, over Chadwick Boseman, but I would have picked Riz Ahmed if I'm going to be honest, because he really propels himself in that film, and he can show like I don't know, man. It's a really educational film if you really think about it.
Yeah, no, and there's nuance to Riz's performance. You know, he's not screaming the whole time. A lot of the times, his best moments, he's really quiet, and he's just like inside he's suffering, and you see it in his eyes and in his demeanor, and I think that's where he shines, honestly.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, this year Coda won Best Picture, which I'm cool with it. Haven't seen it, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have picked either Dune or Don't Look Up to win the trophy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I was more on the Dune side of deserving it, but I'm also not upset that Coda won just because it felt like it was either West Side Story or Dune. It felt like it was going to go big, but then I kind of liked that it didn't. And in a way that when I finally did see Coda, I'm not sure if I agree. It's similar to Nomadland. I don't think it deserves Best Picture, but it's not a bad film at all. And I think it really had a good message to give out to the world. And if that's what gets that movie out there and highlights like the great things about the deaf community, like Troy Kotzer's amazing performance, I think if it gets people to watch that movie in that way, I think I'm okay with it. So
yeah, I agree, but I would have given it to either Dune or Don't Look Up, or to make it a little bit better, I probably would have given it to King Richard. But
honestly, that surprised me too. I didn't realize how much I was gonna like that one. That was a really good
film. I mean, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the incident that happened on stage.
Of course not. Like Bruno.
No bueno.
We don't talk about it.
No. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So one of my friends sent me an edit of that slap, and I was just like, I laughed way too hard, man. I think I'll probably try to send it to you, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it though. But that was really, really funny. But if you got a couple more you want to point out, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I only have a couple more. I I was actually talking about one of the actors in this film earlier. It's literally, for the longest time, it was a guilty pleasure for me. I was actually like ashamed to admit I liked this movie for the longest time. But now that it's on Netflix and I'm old enough to the point to where I don't really care what people think anymore, I will say it. I love Last Action Hero. I love it. I love it. It flopped so hard when it came out. Everybody talks about Predator and Commando and, of course, Terminator and all that. But Arnold Schwarzenegger has comedic chops that is super underrated. Like, we don't see enough of it, and he's so good in this movie. I love the fantasy epic of it. Being a film nerd, who wouldn't want to be like transported into the film with like their favorite like action star and go on an adventure? Right. And it's so fun. It's so meta. Seeing Sylvester Stallone in the Terminator poster instead of Schwarzenegger, and then Schwarzenegger's like, oh, he's fantastic. That's one of his best performances ever. It's so funny. And the score and director John McTiernan just really it's such a fun romp. He really leans into the satire, and it's just, it's a satire of like action pictures of how ridiculous they are, but it's also really good action. It's really fun. Like it's so off the hook. And mentioning Tom Noonan earlier, he's brilliant as Jack the Ripper here, and also shouts out Charles Dance, one of my favorite villains of all time. All-time favorite villains, and I love this movie so much. So anyone that hasn't seen it, it's on Netflix now. It's a classic from the 90s.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I'm also a sucker for meta films, like films that are like so meta and self-aware of themselves. Man, I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah,
like Scream is a good example of that. It's so meta and knows what it's going for, because it's not trying to like preach to the choir, being like, hey, this is the best sequel or anything like that. It's not preaching to the choir or anything. Like it's showing that they're actually that they care about the fans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is fan service to be had in that film, but it's not trying to like be full on fan service. Just be like, okay, here you go. Just stop crying now. like, I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife very much did the same thing. It has its fan service, but it doesn't. But it keeps it to a T.
Oh yeah.
Which is something that
I think both Scream and Ghostbusters Afterlife lets the new principal characters shine, and they kind of make it their own. You know, like shouts out Jenna Ortega, and also shouts out McKenna Grace in Ghostbusters. Like they were characters I really latched onto, and I was rooting for them, and I was excited to see these new faces, these talented young faces, and I really liked Ghostbusters Afterlife. Surprisingly, I went in with really low expectations on that one as well.
Oh man, I mean, I'm a Ghostbusters fanatic, so I mean, I knew what I wanted going in, but I mean, I knew there was going to be fan service, and at least like one of the actors was going to be returning, but I wasn't expecting because they even gave one part of fan service in the trailer, which was of course the Muncher, but obviously we don't talk about the international trailer, which spoils the entire third act.
Right. Wait, really?
It actually spoiled the cameos at the very end of the movie with the original Ghostbusters.
That's terrible. No, I hate when trailers do that. It's really a downer.
BVS syndrome right there, as Zach would like to call it. It's BVS syndrome. Like where they basically kind of spoiled the Wonder Woman surprise.
Right.
And it's just like, okay.
And they also spoiled the Doomsday thing too. Like, can you imagine going into that movie thinking the climax was Batman versus Superman? And then you get surprised, like, oh my God, it's Wonder Woman and Doomsday. Like,
yeah, but then they spoiled that in the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
and to be fair, they didn't lead up to that really well either. They kind of botched the whole thing.
And also they even spoiled the post-credit scene for Uncharted. And I'm like, okay, keep that out of the trailer, please. Come on. We don't need to see that in the trailer. That's a post-credit scene. You keep it out of here.
I'm not going to lie. I wasn't really fond of that one. I didn't know there was a post-credit scene, but that's crazy.
But like at the second trailer, when you see Mark Wahlberg with the mustache, like as Victor Sullivan, like that's actually in the post credits, and I'm like, you could have just left that out of the trailer.
I'm gonna say I didn't know. That's okay.
I know, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I legit don't care. That was the thing that kind of irked me a little bit.
I was gonna say that's a spoiler I'm not mad about, and usually I'm pretty touchy with that, so.
I mean, if people spoil, we even got leaks for No Way Home that were spoilers that, oh my God, Toby and Andrew are in the movie. I kind of figured that was going to happen, but I didn't know how they were going to be coming in.
Right.
But come on, you guys, don't spoil stuff. That's the moral of the story here. Don't spoil anything.
Right.
I think I got spoiled once with Alita Battle Angel at the very end, the cameo at the very end, and I'm like, you people are a bunch of suckers. Because seriously, that Edward Norton cameo at the very end where he's actually as Nova, he's actually the arch nemesis of Alita, I was like, really? You had to spoil that for me? I was going to say,
I am so sorry for you, because that was such a yes moment for me.
I didn't even know he was in the movie, but then after I watched it, I was like, because then over time I forgot about that spoiler, and I watched the movie and I was like, oh my god, please, 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 give me Edward Norton as a villain the next week. Please give it to me. Like,
And what sucks is I don't think that sequel's ever going to see the light of day. But I liked Alita. I thought it was cool.
I really want to see a sequel. I really want to.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of another movie I really want to see a sequel to, but there's not really much I can think of. But, well, I know we're getting Dune Part 2. I'm so excited for Dune Part 2.
Especially with Christopher Walken. That's a pleasant surprise as the Emperor. I love Christopher Walken, so he's been out for a while. It's nice to see him back.
Oh yeah, for sure. And one last thing before we wrap up, I also got to say for this year so far has not been the best track record for film. If I'm gonna be honest, like I've been through some crappy stuff this year actually for films, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I've seen plenty of Netflix films that I thought were just terrible. Like, I don't know, man. But at least my big saving grace for this year is easily Top Gun Maverick. No question. No question it's Top Gun Maverick. That is, I think the Batman was my favorite of the year, like right before Top Gun Maverick took over. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Jeez.
I was bot attack.
I was trying to get that to block for a second, and I was just like, what? What am I doing?
No, you're good. You're good.
A movie that's in the Terminator franchise that you're underrated is Terminator Salvation. I agree. Highly
Especially
underrated.
compared to like Genesis and Dark Fate, Salvation is a masterpiece. But also, I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me. Second and third time really kind of nailed that one for me. Anton Yelchin, R.I.P. He's brilliant as Kyle Reese, and Christian Bale he's okay, but I really liked the concept of Salvation with the android who doesn't really know he's an android. He's like he has a human and cybernetic parts, right? So it's like it was confusing to both like they didn't know if they could trust him or not, and I thought that was really interesting. He had a heart, right? Like a pumping heart, and
yeah, but we're not going to talk about that meltdown that Christian Bale had during filming.
I was just saying, I don't think anybody talks about that anymore, but that was pretty embarrassing.
And I was like, bro, you could have handled it in a much calmer manner, but you just had to melt on him.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'm not the biggest Bale supporter, but he might have just been having a bad day. I think that's normal. So,
yeah. But anyways, guys, we've been on for about 2 hours now, but that about does it for our Hidden Gem stream. Thank you once again to my boy Loretto for joining me. Tell the people in the chat where they can find you.
Yeah, man. I am a proud co-host of the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast, and just in the past 48 hours, I officially am a reporter and writer for the Cinema Spot. So check out Suit Up Geeks at the Suit Up Geeks on Twitter, and the Cinema Spot, cinemaspot.com, and the Cinema Spot on Twitter. I just released an article highlighting my favorite moments from the Jurassic film franchise, celebrating Jurassic World Dominion, which premieres in the next couple of days. So check that out, thecinemaspot.com, and of course the Suit Up Geeks. I'm a proud co-host there. And if you want to just follow me and talk shop, I'm always happy to chat about film, and just, you can follow me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden or my Letterboxd. I've got some of my own personal reviews there. So thanks for having me, Luke. This was a blast, man.
Hey, man, no problem. But yeah, of course, you guys can subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram. And just to let you know, guys, I have a Jurassic Park stream coming up where I'm going to talk about all 5 of the films before Dominion comes out this Friday, which I am seeing on Friday. Expect to hear a rant about one of those movies. I'll say that at least. Expect to hear a rant.
That's awesome, man. I'm actually catching the double feature on Thursday. It's the original film, Jurassic Park, and then Dominion right after. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I haven't done a theater double feature in a while, so I'm excited.
Well, I'm going to do a double weekend, like a double feature weekend when it comes to Elvis and the Black Phone.
Oh, nice.
I'm so gonna do that because like that'd be my first time doing that because I'm looking forward to both movies, but I'm more looking forward to the Black Phone because I love Scott Derrickson and the concept of it sounds super creepy.
Yeah. And I think like besides Thor, I think Black Phone is my most anticipated film for the summer. So
yes,
I'm a huge Derrickson fan, and I love Ethan Hawke. So
and dude, his mask, that dude, every time I
Creepy as
look
hell.
at it, I freak out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's creepy as hell.
I mean, you don't even expect that scene like when then he's on the phone and he's like, "Hang up the phone."
No,
Like, you don't expect that.
It gets under your skin a little bit, and I think Ethan Hawke's gonna kill it. Can't wait, man.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna see that. Hopefully that Friday I'm gonna be seeing that, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, subscribe to the Suit Up Geeks. Go follow Lo on Twitter and go check him out at the Cinema Spot. Follow me on Letterboxd as well. Follow me on Twitter, Letterboxd, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, look forward to my Jurassic Park stream coming up here fairly soon. And also look forward to my review of Sinister coming out in about a week or so in the build up to the Black Phone. I am so excited to bring that to you guys and also be reviewing the first 3 Thor films. Lots to look forward to and much, much, much more. And also, if you guys want to see me review a couple of David Leitch's movies before Bullet Train, let me know. I am more than down to do that. So, but anyways, guys, thanks once again, Loretto, for coming on to the stream and talking about all these awesome movies with me. And even doing some trash talking. I mean, that's always going to be typical when you're with me. I'm going to do some trash talking. But anyways, everybody, have a good night. Rock on.